Scarlet Begonia. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Begonias.
Just like
yeah.
that.
Just like that.
Scarlet Begonia.
That's the only way to pronounce it.
Was the inspiration for it from Sublime?
Yeah, but don't tell anyone that because they all think it's Deadhead stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, they all
Did you
think
get
it's
that out?
Deadhead
I
stuff.
didn't even
yeah.
think about
No,
that.
they need to know. But like Deadheads will come into the shop all the time and be like, because that's Sublime covered a Grateful Dead song.
Yes.
And it's pretty much about a young couple like selling drugs and running around the world together.
Yeah.
And so we thought it was a cute love story, so we named it after that. And then Deadheads will
yeah.
come in all the time, like, yeah, and you're like, I know nothing of the band. Like, you
Oh.
know, like, and then you don't want to tell them, like, oh, it's actually because I like the Sublime cover. Like, you know.
So, truth is out now. Should we cut it out?
No, leave it in there. That's what they need to know. They don't have. They don't go on
People
the
need
internet.
the internet.
They don't go on the internet. No,
People that
no.
like Deadhead.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so you were talking about how it's in East. What is it? East Hill. You said it like
East
that.
York.
East York.
Yeah, so it's like the other side. Where everyone comes to Toronto for the West End and downtown and stuff. So we're in the more like suburban kind of area of Toronto a little bit.
But you live at the beaches.
Yeah,
That's what I heard you saying
yeah,
earlier.
it's like a 10-minute drive from the shop. It's awesome.
That's so. It's ironic to hear somebody who lives in and works in Toronto when it's like a short commute. But also, I
Yeah.
think I'm so jealous that you live in Toronto at the beaches.
It's honestly really nice. Like it's the best. Like it's like if you took like a little part of like, not like a touristy town, but like those little beach towns. It's like if you took a little sliver of that and dropped it in the corner. It's like quiet. Like in the wintertime, there's like no one there. It's like really nice and still. And then you have to go into Toronto for all the crap. Like it's in it, but you have to like go downtown for all the like crazy people and nonsense and all that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah. It is. It is by far one of the nicest communities I've been in.
Yeah, I have no idea how I got an apartment there.
Well, fuck yeah.
We
But-
just don't question it. We
No, we had a hard time finding it because I made horrible life decisions. So like all of our landlords
What
were
was
like,
this?
yeah, because all the all the bad decisions on the
Face
face and
tattoo
stuff. Yeah.
shit?
Well, 10 years ago that mattered getting an apartment, right? Not so much
An
anymore.
apartment.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and then we got like old hippie landlords that were like, "Oh, cool, you're a tattoo artist, you're clean and have money." I was like, "Oh, sick!" Like you get it.
You
like,
get it.
Yeah. Everyone else, I was like, "Oh, I'm a tattooer." They're like, "So you sell drugs?" And I'm like, "No, I don't sell drugs."
just do them.
Yeah. I just,
just
like
do
them. I just have a
them.
good time with them. But.
So wait, before you owned Scarlet,
Yeah.
were you in Toronto as well?
No. For like a year, I kind of bounced around shops because I came from
Toronto?
Georgetown, and I was working a shop there. But I'd only been tattooing for like 3 years when I moved, so it's really hard, as you know, to land a decent shop in that time. So I was kind of going a few different places, trying to find somewhere, and then ended up going up to Newmarket to work at Lucky Devil, which is a great shop,
Yep.
but the
Nice.
commute was way too far. So then we opened up the shop after that.
Okay, so you're bouncing around for a little
Yeah,
bit after
yeah.
you left your small town.
Yeah, like where I like apprenticed and everything. Yeah.
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 What
What
was
was-
that? 10 years ago?
Yeah, well, that would be started this year. Would be 13 years tattooing. So like I started my apprenticeship like 14 years ago. Yeah.
How was your apprentice in general? Like, was it one of the?
Was it old school?
Was it
Oh, it
really
was
13
choppy?
years ago.
It was old schoolish because it was a married couple and he was from the South, like in the States. So he was like really really old school. So like worked like a dog, like no payment,
Yep.
like well over a year before I ever even practiced on grapefruits and stuff. Like did it like the old way. Like they took me in. Like at one point I lived in their house. Like they did it right, but like I worked for it. I got like jokingly abused a good amount. You know what I mean?
Jokingly.
Like I was set on fire one time while I was
What?
apprenticing. You know, like he would spray me with rubbing alcohol to teach me clean hand, dirty hand, and then like flick it with his lighter, so that I would like have to put myself out with the clean hand, not the dirty hand. I learned how to do it real fast that way, though. You know, like, yeah, very, very, very old school shit. Like,
I love hearing different
Yeah.
people's apprenticeship, especially if it's like 10 years or more.
yeah.
Because then you get that like, yeah, I was just getting set on
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah, it was rough even for then. It was kind of old school even for that time. But like again, they put a roof over my head. They fed me, bought my smokes, everything. So it was hard to
Wow.
argue that. You know, and then now I'm tattooing this long, so it's like it was worth it. But
So
Yeah.
was it like? Did you get a lot of like the practical application of
Oh, I
like,
learned-
building needles?
yeah, I learned to
and-
build needles with them. I built machines. Like
Fuck yeah.
I mixed my own pigment. The first tattoo I ever had to do, I had to mix my own pigment and build my own needles for it, which was super cool.
Fuck yeah.
But like yeah, like so old school, but you got what you needed out of that.
Yeah,
which was
oh,
super
yeah.
fucking cool. Like
Yeah.
I was appreciative of that.
You have so much more than what half the tattooers, at least half of the tattooers,
And
don't have anymore.
And it's not even like it's their fault. You know
No,
what I
it's
mean?
not.
Like some of them, like they get apprenticeship, they get a pen put in their hand. They've never even held a coil machine. They don't know any of that. But it's not their fault. And nowadays, half the suppliers, you can't even buy that stuff if you want it anymore. So like, how are they supposed to try to like go back and learn? You know, no one's teaching them it. But
Yeah, that's fair.
as long as you respect it, then you're good.
What, the old school?
Yeah, like even if you learn the new way, as long as you respect the old way.
Yeah.
Speaking of, would you, if there was like, because there's a distinct difference between the old school and the new school when regarding like apprenticeship wise, or even like walking in and feeling it as a whole vibe, but would you keep or get rid of certain things? So you're saying as long as you respect it, but is there things that you'd be like, this should probably never happen, but also it's good that I did, or
like in my apprenticeship?
in old school apprenticeships in general, but you really got a flavor of that, like you learned everything that way, but also got a bit abused.
I don't know, like I found, I guess like I would have just keep it the way it is. Cause,
You would?
Like, yeah, because like it's some of it sucked, and like long days. Like there were times I get to shop 10 a.m., leave at 2 a.m. You know, and so it's like long days, a lot of work. But like the knowledge that I have now, I would not be able to get anymore. And like again, even if you don't have to sit there and solder your needles. Nobody's doing that shit. But like at least if you like saw the process, you can respect like what tattooers had to do for us all to be able to do this for a living for such a long time.
Yeah.
So I think God, no, it's like I wouldn't change it, but I do think that like it's a dead thing now. Like you'll just go to court if you try to any of this stuff that they used
I wonder
to
if
do.
that's happened. Do you know of any situations?
I haven't heard.
Not in
but
Canada. People sue more in the States, right?
Yeah, someone's probably sued their mentor
Tattooer.
at a point.
I mean,
for-
I think even at this point now, the only people that are still really like truly consistently building needles and soldering, I've only really ever seen as like being the heavy blackout artists that are in Europe now.
Yeah, making the like
Europe.
obscure sizing
Yeah, I was gonna say
and
the
all that.
128s and
And like then they're just blacking shit out with it.
it's gonna shovel you.
Yeah,
in this.
they're like I made a 400 meg. Like,
Well, because you tattooed like 13 years ago,
Yeah.
and you worked in a small town, and you had to like really work your way up, which is what the old school apprenticeship was. It's like working your way into your own style, working your way into doing anything really. I'm sure you did like a wide variety. You did it everything kind
oh,
of thing.
in like my first boss, she told me that you got to be a chameleon. That was what she was trying to teach us. That whatever comes in the door, you have to be able to do. I don't think that that's the way tattooing's gone, but it was like I don't know,
Necessary
like,
then.
Like I did portraits in the beginning. I did like everything, and like now I'm like I could do the worst portrait you've ever seen. Like I just don't do it right. But like I learned how to do it. Like you know, so I think that's influential for sure a little bit.
Taught you how to
But
do a bit of
yeah,
everything.
Yeah, but like I don't use any of those skills. Like I haven't put out a wash in 5 years. You know, like,
5 years,
Yeah,
yeah?
yeah, just whip black. That's all I do now. Like if I even shade, it's just hard whip. Like you know, nothing in there. But yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So I
and
see your shit and I'm like, how in the hell? Like you're getting all that sweet.
realism?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, they do that. Like
Well, I don't know how to fucking saturate the way you guys do, right? Or
Yeah.
pull a fat line. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, your work is by far some of the heaviest saturation that
I
I've
appreciate
ever
it.
seen.
I'm like, if you do one thing, you gotta at least try to do it good, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, and your style is so distinct as well too, just in the means of the color palettes that you use, and then obviously the subject matter. What was the inspiration, or how did you kind of land on that being the flavor that you went with?
Flavor.
The flavor. So
Use any terminology you like on that one.
but yeah, I was doing new school actually before this, and it was like really bubbly, really unapproachable. But I liked like the drippy kind of graffiti feel, and then it was just like not busy, like not doing a lot of tattoos, like just kind of like struggling a bit. And I got frustrated one day, and I was like, I'm just gonna draw something completely different out of it. And I was like, oh, Toronto's a black workplace. Let's just put a bunch of black in something. And I didn't like it, so I put a little pink and blue in, and then it just blew up.
You were like, this is sexy.
Overnight, like it went from like I got time tomorrow to like fortunately booking like a point. Like I would go to conventions and do 1-2 tattoos, and now very fortunately I go to them now and I'm generally booked by the time I get there.
Oh, yeah,
Which
you're
is like
solid.
it's really still kind of hard to grasp, because like that was 2018 is when I started doing this style, and like night and day, just how much more I was tattooing.
Because you've been doing it a long time.
You
Like the way, like this style,
yeah,
that
yeah.
flavor.
So now it's been 6 years.
6
of
years.
doing this, yeah. So
That-
not as long as most of my career, but like I've done more tattooing in the last 6 years than I've done in the 13 years in total. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense for sure.
So I'm very fortunate for that. Like, you know, it's really cool that people dig it. I don't know why, but they do. So,
well, it pops like crazy, right?
Yeah,
like, Bold will hold.
Same thing. I was going to say same thing. Like, I think the biggest difference is the fact that when the pieces are healed, it's not so wildly different than when you're taking pictures of them fresh.
Yeah, except for, like, some of the neons, like, get that, like, skin filter over them a little bit. But, like, other than that, it's like I'm not taking, like, a field and going from, like, 4 or 5 different tones. It's like, that section's supposed to be pink. The whole thing is just evenly the same pink. So I do think that there's some, like, I like to look at it later and be like, hey, that looks generally the same.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Speaking of you going to conventions, that's where we met, right?
Yeah,
like,
Winnipeg, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I wasn't sure if you remembered. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure getting color. Because I was doing a random fucking color. It was a Winnipeg one.
Yeah,
I think it was the first one.
Yeah, because they've only done a few years of it.
Yeah.
They had an issue with their health board. They couldn't do a convention for a lot of years.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's why Winnipeg didn't have a convention until I think we met in either 2017 or 2018, I think. One of those.
Yeah, and you were already doing that.
Yeah, I would
remember being like,
so
oh,
it
I
would
haven't
have
seen
been
this.
February 2018, I think, then.
Yeah.
I would have just started doing this, and that's when I noticed conventions got a little better for me. But, yeah, that's when it was. But they didn't have the right to do conventions pre that year in Manitoba. So that's why they don't have any until now.
That I really do like that convention.
It's sick. Are you doing it this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
You?
Like the May one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because now they have 3 for some reason. So
yeah.
Yeah, the
Not
May
the
one.
same people though.
No, all 3 different owners, but
yeah. But that's I
all in
remember
Winnipeg. I don't know why.
I know.
Because they got money.
Kind of weird, but it's so scary there, man.
I don't like it at
This is a
all.
gross
Like no,
town.
it's so scary.
Right.
Like you know, like someone comes up to you for money, you give them the money. Like
yeah,
you know?
well, isn't that like where you're most likely to get stabbed in
Murder
Canada?
capital of Canada.
Murder capital.
No kidding.
It's ghetto.
Have you seen the Winnipeg handshake flash? So like you know the trad like snake shaking like the hand. Theirs is a hand shaking a broken beer bottle. And it says Winnipeg handshake under it because people get stabbed there so often.
Best fucking convention I've ever been to.
It's so sick. Like people are like come to you a lot, and they like everyone's there to spend money. No card takers, right? Everyone wants to book.
Yeah,
is cool.
Convention center is beautiful. It's like big and bright.
All
and beautiful.
Those windows, like the big wall of windows, and
super high ceilings, really like just nicely spaced out. You get a big booths, which is like makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Even like she's just thoughtful. Like they go around and they check on you like constantly. And I remember one of my friends was with us, and his name's Gabe, and it was his birthday that weekend, and she found that out, and they got him a bottle of whiskey and like had it as big happy birthday. Like what the fuck?
She's my favorite convention owner. Like she's like
Abby,
like
shout
no
out Abby.
ego. Like Abby is the best. Like no ego. And like I remember, I think it was the second year we did it. There was a crazy snowstorm, and we got stranded in Winnipeg for 5 days.
This is when they did it in February.
Yeah, worst time ever. And the first thing she did was reach out and was like, "Dude, come to my shop, guest while you're here." Like gave very nice rate and stuff. She's like, "You're gonna have to pay for my hotels, so I want to hook you up." She's awesome.
Yeah, she wants to take care of everybody and everything. But
tattooer run, right? Like keep a tattooer running it. You're gonna have a better show.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So you've done a lot.
Yeah.
Of shows.
Yeah.
What would be the furthest that you've traveled convention wise?
Thailand.
Thailand.
Yeah, that was cool. That was wild. Yeah.
What was like about what was Thailand? Or what was the big thing about Thailand?
It was the weirdest convention in the world. Like so, like you get there and it's a mall. Like you're in a like not like a convention center, and like they've set up this like railed off area in the middle of the mall.
No.
Yeah, and it's free to get in. So like people are just like shopping and like walking through the convention. Like it's not like you had to pay or anything. So like it was fun, and it was cool to be like that was actually the first time I tattooed internationally was in Thailand. So it was like cool to be like, oh, I'm doing this here, and the convention itself kind of was slow. Like it wasn't in the most expensive part of Thailand, so people are broke. Yep. And they had too much respect to take a deal just to tattoo them and stuff. So like slow convention, but it was totally worth it. It was super cool.
Super cool.
Yeah, like like it wasn't like it was in Bangkok or anything. So like we were on like a little island in the Gulf of Thailand. So it was beautiful, and like you know those California malls that are like half inside, half outside?
Yep.
It was one of
No.
those. So like you had to like put your green soap bottle on your paper towel so they wouldn't blow away mid
What?
yeah, mid like thing.
That's
It was
so cool.
wild, but it was super cool. Yeah, and like the Thai government doesn't care about you there for work. Like you're
What?
like, what
Oh,
are you
yeah?
here for? Like tattoo, and they're like, oh, I would love tattoos, and they
What's
just
your
like,
name?
yeah, they don't give a shit. Like you
Yeah,
know.
I feel like Thailand's got some loose rules.
Yeah,
around
there was
certain
no like
topics.
work issues or anything, but yeah, that one was definitely the farthest.
Did you get to travel around the?
Yeah, we stayed there for like 2 weeks. You know, if you're gonna go that far, you're gonna stay a little bit
Absolutely.
longer. So like, yeah.
Was it like a big tour? Did you do any other ones?
No, I
throughout
just did the show that time, but I think if I went back, I would do some guesting. I probably would go up to Bangkok. I think you would make a lot more money. Like you would pay for your trip in Bangkok, as opposed to this one was like a fun life experience, if you would.
Okay,
You know.
you're paying into it for the
Yeah,
experience,
especially if you stay 2 weeks, you're definitely paying into
Oh,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But people say a lot of positive things about Thailand when it comes to like traveling and kind of being there and everything.
Yeah, it
so.
was sick. Like it was fairly inexpensive once you're there. Cause tattooing's so accepted in that part of Asia, you don't have any negative aspects about that, as opposed to like other parts of Asia. You will, you know.
Totally.
So that part was great. Like there's no issues. Like it was awesome.
Any other like shows that you've been to overseas or
No,
just
I've done guesting overseas, but that was the only out of Canada convention I've done so far. I was supposed to do some in 2020, but we all saw how that went down. So.
convention wise. So you do them like all the time?
Yeah, it's especially now that it's like picking back up and stuff like that. But
You
yeah,
like doing them?
yeah, I love doing them.
That's fun.
Yeah, I love doing conventions. It's just like now it's less stressful, right? In the beginning they were horrifying, but now less.
Now that
stressful.
you're used
Yeah,
to it.
like I
You
used to
built
like.
a tolerance.
Yeah, I used to care about like every little aspect and would stress out about like everything, and now I'm like, here's my shit on a table. If you like it, look at it. If not, go away. Like
Yeah.
you know, like it's less. Like this year, I've only got I think 4 in the books for this year, but.
Still a lot.
Yeah, well, I do a lot with guesting in between, so like that kind of feeds the beast a little bit. I like to guest more than I like to do conventions.
Well, even like Scarlet Begonias is like that as well too. Like you guys seem to consistently have artists coming in and out of there doing, doing
we
spots.
try to give like people like a place that they can come, and it's like we're not like trying to gouge them on their end of cut and all that. So like we're like, hey, you paid for flights and a hotel, like just hang out and like worry about little things, not like, hey, I don't want half your money, like you know, yeah.
When it comes to the artists that are coming into the shop, is it more like a friendship base that you make the decision off of, or is there like anybody can just reach out and come in, or
both? I'm not a huge fan of when people reach out to try to come in, because generally you don't like you don't know them, and then it's like if they suck a little bit as a person, you're there with them for 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like I find it's like if friends you make on the road, you invite back, or artists I've respected. Like I'm a big believer in like you just ask them. If they say no, they don't come, or they say yes and they show up, right? So I reach out to anybody that I want to guest at the shop.
Yeah.
So many people are like, oh, it's a big name or something. Like, it's just a person on the other side of that. Like it's just someone just as worried about their stuff as you and all that stuff. So like just invite anyone.
Yeah, true. So you do a lot of reaching out to other people?
Yeah. Like I used to more, and like I feel fortunate that with the traveling now, it's like I create those relationships and then bring them out.
Yep.
So like it's a little less reaching out, and now it's more like the people are doing repeat things, or like you kind of become like Insta friends, and then you invite them out to your shop and all that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you ever like reach out to somebody that you fangirled about?
Yeah.
Or have somebody that came to your shop or something?
Yeah.
Or met anyone?
So the one that I would like definitely quote unquote fangirled the most, or Davey Blows.
Super familiar.
He does like really like bold like graffiti meets like Panthers, and they're like all really trippy and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's cool stuff. And like now he's come to the shop a bunch. He's working on my whole back. He's tattooed the side of my head and stuff. But like in the beginning,
Davey Blows?
yeah, Davey. Well, now he changed it to Davey Knows now, but Davey with 2 E's, and you'll be able to find it.
Davey knows.
Yeah.
And you guys have done a couple collab tattoos.
Yeah,
as
we've
well too,
collabed
right?
together now. Like he like crashes at my place when he comes by, but like I'll tell him this to his face when he first came. Like the wife had to be like, "Stop it! Stop it!" Like I was like full sitting on the couch fangirling, just like, "Oh my god, Davey's in my shop!" Yeah. I was like, "Oh my god, he's here!" And like now it's like fortunate. It's like a buddy just comes by. He's gonna be coming, I think, in the summer. He travels so much that it's hard to nail him down.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That also makes sense why you're like,
yeah.
up your alley.
He's always on the road. Like he doesn't really have a home base anymore. So like, it's kind of one of those, like, he talks about showing up, and then like 3 weeks before he's like, I'm coming for 2 weeks, and you're like, okay, see you then, like, you know. But yeah.
What do you find the most challenging aspect of the collab tattoos?
When they wipe your stencil away. That's probably the most, like, when they're just going for it, and you're like, fair. I needed so much of that. Like, you know.
What do you do? How do you recover?
Oh, just go for it. Like, just pull that line, hope for the best. Thing is, when you make everything drippy, if you fall off line a little bit, it's fine. You just extra drip, extra go, you know.
That's fair.
Yeah, you just go for it.
You fucking raw dog it. You just free balling it.
Oh yeah, there's times that half the shit you see in my tattoos, there was no stencil for. I'm just like, oh, I want to add this, I want to add that, and like the client doesn't really know, so it's usually a surprise. Like what they end up with.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, cool, I added
like
all
that
this
extra little drip you did.
Yeah, and like I'll put a crown on top of it or something. They had no idea it was gonna happen. I'm just like, we'll see.
That's sick. I actually recently, for the first time, maybe not the first time, but I rarely see it, where this guy just started tattooing, and there was no stencil, and it ended up being like a realistic horse or something like that. But he just went ahead and started using a big mag.
I think I've seen that dude, and he like fully like does portraits with it and stuff, right? I don't understand that. Like, I've done tattoos where I don't lay a stencil.
He's neurospicy for sure. Yeah. That is.
But the realism, I'm like, how that? Like, I understand if you're doing like a rose, sure, you should be able to tattoo a rose with no stencil. But like, if it's trad, like, you know, if it's trad, like.
No, I remember even hearing years ago that Freddie Negretti was like that. He was able to go in and no reference, nothing, just straight off the skin and be able to build up from there. And I think it's just that to me speaks to the ability of your artistic capacity. You know?
Yeah, it's like that balance between like the mechanism of the actual act and then the art side of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any tattoos, whether it be wearing wise or that you've done over your 13 years, that still haunts you?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
So much both. Like, I've got some just like bad like tattoos from when I like let anyone tattoo me in the beginning, like just like garbage black and gray, like people that think that they're good at black and gray and they're not. And I've got a bunch that I've done where I'm like, if I find that person, I will cut it off of them. I don't want anyone to ever know that like I did that. Like, I did this underwater half sleeve on a dude, and like everything about it was the worst thing you've ever seen. And I did it like 2-3 years in, and I was so proud of it. And I saw him a couple years later, and I was like, I want to just run away. Like, I'm so upset by it.
It's the worst.
It's the worst thing in the world. It's like, and it's half his arm. It's just he's ruined. He's ruined forever.
Was he excited about it?
Oh, he loves it. He still thinks it's super cool.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. And I'm like,
as long as he's happy.
I'm like, please move away. Like, please, like, go away. Like, I don't want to see this.
I never want to see your face again. I don't know how to explain it, but it just feels like your insides are dying of shame.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't sleep that night.
No, and you're literally like, how do I block this out?
Yeah.
I hope that I mentally block this out somehow because it's painful.
Yeah, little mistakes like stress you out, but the big ones, I'm like, oh no, there's lots. I was like, I've done spelling mistakes. I've done like blowouts from hell. I blew out this girl's neck so bad that I had to like add an extra like free extension to it to like make it better later. But it was my first neck tattoo, and I just fucking like that wide, like just the worst blowout you've ever seen. And I'm like, good
probably
thing
hurt
so bad. She probably hurt for like a month. Like, you know, but like,
holy shit, dude.
Yeah. You know those days, the beginning years where you're like, hey, this is a gamble if this is going to look good. Like,
yeah.
You just hope that it's like so traumatizing that your body somehow manages to just suppress it deep down and you just don't think about it.
Because I was a slow learner in the beginning with it. Like, I had the dedication and I would just like keep showing up, but like bad for a bit. Like, just bad. Not saying that my shit don't stink now, but like it was real bad. Like, it was real spicy. Like, you know, so.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm glad I changed towns, you know.
I just pick up moves.
Yeah, I just moved towns. Yeah.
That's why tattooers bounce around for the first 5 years of their life.
You just ruin a bunch of people, and then you go settle somewhere.
And then you're good.
Yeah.
But you know what? I feel like back 13 years ago especially, you had one fucking guy and maybe a YouTube video that was like going on for education-wise or watching someone tattoo.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's a lot more better artists, but there's a shit ton of artists and everything. But there's a little bit more online and like...
The access to information, you know, is just wild. Like, you know, you can truly, if you want, you shouldn't, but you can self-teach yourself now, as
You
opposed
could.
to like you shouldn't, but like
Yeah.
the information, some of these videos are giving away all trade secrets in one
Yeah.
video, right? So
I think there's that one Instagram page. I think it's 10 Masters, something like that, and they go as in depth as you could
Yep.
ever possibly ask for
Yeah.
with it.
Right
And-
on their Instagram page?
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, like you said, basically, like you can go on and get a YouTube education now to a point where you technically could, if you stuck with it and learned.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you
off of that.
dedicated, yeah.
Oh, yeah, DIY tattooer, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I did see someone say something about how that's technically almost old school in itself, like before all of the apprenticeships and Western tattooing and stuff. Like it was like a counterculture, and like tattooers have built a culture, and now that these younger tattooers are doing counterculture to that, we don't like it, because I don't.
Damn.
But it's true.
Inception.
Yeah, it's like Inception. Like, you know, they're like doing this stuff. They don't want to do the apprenticeship. They don't want to listen to what you want to say and all that. And it's like, it's kind of tattooing in itself.
It's kinda
think
punk,
about
really.
it. Yeah, it's a kind of
Do
a
what I
punk way to
want.
do it. But they do that, what's that, ignorant style? I'm not sure if it's that little, like looks like a middle school desk, you know, where they like,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And then you look on their
Detention
profile,
tattoos?
and it's like 600,000 followers, booked for
Ever.
2
Yeah.
years out.
And I'll take that with me till I die. I respect different styles and stuff, but I do not. That's the only one. I
Yeah.
don't care. I'm
You're
like,
like, "Oh, God."
it's not even that it looks bad. It's just like it's not. It's
There's
not
no respect
tattooed.
to it.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah, yeah.
care, you
Yep.
know. And it's like I don't care if you learn it under a bridge, but at least try with your
do
tattoo.
Well, even
something
now,
like
like the ignorant style, that's like what they do is tattoo under bridges and in
Yeah.
parks and.
The what?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Who?
I think
People
it's
do that?
it's definitely more popular in Europe more than anything else. Like, there's definitely a ton of artists out there that's the whole idea is like exactly like you said. They want to essentially break down the progression that the industry has made and kind of bring it all back to this super rudimentary state where you're just
Nature?
throwing.
In nature.
Yeah, have you
I think honestly a lot of it is more for like the content aspect. So like
Totally.
again, like you pick
the
it up on Instagram.
influencer?
We're gonna
stuff,
bring it
yes.
back
Yeah.
and record it and put it online.
Like, have
Fucking
you
right.
seen that guy that hangs the pen off of like the tree and then like dances under it while it's running, and it like tattoos wherever?
No.
It's the worst thing you've ever seen. It'll make you so upset, and it's
You would
just like
assume that
a
this is a
swinging
jackass
machine, and he's like dancing under it and like doing all that.
And then
Yeah.
every once in a while.
It's awful.
What? I can't even. It's by like a string.
Yeah,
So
and
when
it's
it
like a
hits you, it
wireless.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
It's
they
not-
don't,
not
it
even
doesn't
making
look
it
good.
alive.
No. It's not even doing anything. It's bouncing and doing internet. It's hitting different levels of the skin all day. Like,
Yeah.
or like they'll like do experimental things where they pull a line between three people, and it's like you're all now blood brothers. Like, you know, they'll like go between people and stuff. Oh, it's awful. I hate the internet. You know?
You're breaking new barriers
Yeah.
into tattooing. Really? Wow. I've never seen that.
You're on the good part of tattoo internet then. Like, you're on the good side. Like,
Yeah, I didn't even know. That's amazing. I'm gonna check that out later just so I
Yeah.
can
just watch like the
cry
worst.
a little.
Yeah, cry
Just
a
shed
lot.
a tear.
Yeah.
be like, what's happened? Well, again, it is kind of tattoo artisty, isn't it?
It is.
We're gonna do what I
to,
want.
to be like, I'm not gonna listen to no one. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but it is interesting. Like, obviously, that's kind of gross. Like being in nature, there's probably gusts of wind that have dirt. You're just swinging something. Obviously, there's like there's something about that screams cross contamination or like they worry about that. But at the same time, then there's like it's different to health boards for are doing different types of regulations all over. So even like Durham to like Kawartha Lakes, it's a bit different. But Thailand, you can be half outside, half inside with random traffic
And
coming.
they had there was no health board. Like there
There's
was
none?
no. It was very not health. Like the
No
needle
place to
bucket
wash your
was
hands
just a,
kinda thing?
Like, no. Like they didn't even have needle buckets. Like the needle buckets were water bottles, and you just filled it with needles, and then they threw it in the dumpster. Like it was, so the garbage human that did that had to deal with like a bunch of needles after and stuff. It
Oh
was,
my fuck!
But funny enough, the shops care a lot. Like when you would go, I went and visited a bunch of shops, and they cared. Like they were all like very, like they bought their own needle buckets. Like they were like they made sure things were very clean.
Wow.
But there was no one checking that, like at all. Like it was just you did it because you care about your client, kind of thing. But like the convention,
And the guy
like,
who's gonna handle this
yeah,
needle later in
yeah,
life.
yeah. The garbage people have to deal with everything. Like, you know, yeah.
Sticking your hand in
Even like some like provinces here don't have
Much
health
of a
boards. Like Quebec doesn't have a health board.
no health
No,
board.
there's no health board in Quebec. No one comes by and checks your shop.
You know
No
what
one checks your convention. Have you done the Montreal show?
I've done I think it was Quebec City
Yeah.
one. I don't know. I've been to Montreal, but like the convention, but I've worked at that one years ago. But I do remember they had a little trolley of alcohol, and usually it's like you got to be like in Halifax. You had to go to essentially a rave. I don't know if you were at that one, but
I went to it before it turned into the rave, but yeah.
the rave was fucking insane. So
Yeah.
you could only buy alcohol if you were in this other section of the building, and then there was a tent, so you had to only drink your alcohol there, and then you could go. But they watched you.
Yeah.
It was in a beer tent essentially, but indoors. And there was a fucking whole ass rave going on, and you had to drink your beer with like just a whole different crew
Sweaty
of people.
rave people. Like,
Sweaty ravers that had like cat ears, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're like fucking woo, and then you're like, this is so weird. But Quebec had a trolley. They're like to your client, they'd be like, you want a fucking beer? Do you want a beer? Like to the tattooer, and you'd be like, what the fuck? So it is wild seeing the different experiences
it's
of.
yeah, like how like they are so picky, and because now actually Montreal does the same thing. They make you drink in like the beer section, so like you
Okay.
can't wander through. But it's weird because they care about the alcohol, but they don't care about like there's no one checking your booth. There's no consent forms. Like there's nothing like that, and you just kind
No
of
consent forms
no
either?
consent form. You just tattoo. Like there's nothing. There's no wristbands for
I
the
saw
art,
that.
like the clients and stuff. It's nothing like that. So it's very it's a weird world in Montreal for that, but again, kind of makes it punk rock. So like, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and like those experiences are definitely a different experience than when they're like super tight, right?
Yeah.
When they're like you have to fucking whatever. But even like I think it was Sarnia. I can't remember. I think it was Sarnia. But there wasn't hand washing stations. Like each one apparently in Sarnia. I think it was Sarnia, but had to have their own hand washing situation
Like
in
per
each
booth?
booth. Per booth, but this is what they ended up makeshifting. Is there with this jug that they had sideways that had one of these like
oh, like the camping. thing.
yes,
yeah,
a
yeah.
jug, 2 liter, with a bucket on the ground and a bottle of soap on top. So you'd go poop, fucking do this,
and
do
not
this,
clean
do
your
this,
hands well
or
at
have
all.
no, and then push the button, and that was the. Whereas it's just weird.
Yeah, no, like it's. I'll never. That makes traveling difficult. You know, you never know what each convention's gonna want you to do or not do, and it's like Winnipeg. You have to do your bloodborne.
Yep.
Like, you have to show your bloodborne. They
Yep.
check your tubes and needles, all that.
Yep.
You know, they don't do
It's
that in
tight.
a lot of places.
But
you know?
still
way it
one of the
should be
best
done.
ones, even though it is tight.
Yeah. Well, that's
So.
why the convention took so long to get together. Is because
The health board of Winnipeg. I guess it is. Especially for stabby Winnipeg,
Yeah.
it's probably good they
Yeah.
have health board
No,
regulations.
I think that's it sets the industry standard to make sure that no matter who's entering into it, that you're going to be able to at least know that everything is as professional as it possibly can be. And I think, again, as much as the DIY aspect of tattooing and the counterculture is 100% appreciated, the fact that it brings it into the 21st century in the means of just proper cleanliness is a
Absolutely, you got to keep people safe. Like
it's a necessity.
tattoo conventions are already one of the grosser things. Like, go to them, but they're
Yeah.
gross. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
They're gross.
like I understand. I don't
Some
get tattooed
shit.
at a lot of shows. You know what I mean? Like,
No?
I'll do them, but like,
Yeah.
I
It is
got
kinda
them done
crazy.
at one, and that will be more than likely the last.
The last time.
it sucks, and everyone's staring at you. Like, I got my neck done. That was the only one I ever did at a convention, and just sucked. Everyone's staring at you. Open your eyes. There's like a crowd. I'm like, I hate all of this. Like, you know?
Yeah. Social anxiety's peaking.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's like the Tabori guys in
Yeah.
the Toronto show,
Yeah.
and like they're in the loincloth,
Yep.
whatever you really want to. I don't know the technical term for it.
Little diaper.
But
Little diaper.
yeah.
yeah, no, you see like dicks and balls and
Where the fuck
assholes.
you see
and-
dicks and balls at the show?
There is very little that I have not seen at the Toronto convention, and that spans across a large amount of areas, like drug use, nudity, whatever.
Yeah.
But
So much drugs.
So
yeah,
much drugs. Yeah.
So much drugs.
So much everything.
Yeah, just like it's so weird. It's like a group of people that care a lot and are trying to push it, and then people there that are there to get fucked up. There's no
Exactly.
like
Yes.
middle with it, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, hey, do you? But like, I don't know, it's weird.
It's
Yeah.
a interesting experience the
And
conventions in general.
yeah, like, and depending again how big or small they are and all that changes everything too. Like the Toronto one does seem like a party show, like
It's so huge too.
yeah, it's huge.
It's in Toronto.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm sure a lot of people come down because it's like the hub of,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
With your style,
Yeah.
you do a lot of characters. Do you have characters that you're doing all the time? Like I do a lot of like Black and Gorillism. Do a lot of fucking lines, right?
You do? Yeah, I
Dude.
see that. Yeah.
You do.
You do.
Well, with your style, is there like a character like I do Bart Simpson all the fucking time or something?
Yeah, when it comes to like Pokemon's probably the most popular. Like that's just like anime nerds, they want to get tattooed. They love it. And like they're always really fun and like, easy to people, but like Pokemon for sure. Like generally the stereotypical ones, like, all the ghost Pokemon and all that. People want it. And then outside of that, yeah, like Simpsons is definitely higher. And then like the classics, but some people are cool and they like want me to pick the character from a show and stuff.
Oh, fuck
which is
yeah.
fun. They're like, pick your favorite, I like them all, and then I just
Do that.
do that.
Fuck
Yeah. So that's it. Some people are really picky and then some people not so much. I'm sure you have the same thing. Right?
Yeah. Black and Gorillism is a bit different. I'm typically doing like
They're like, I want this, and they give you the photo of the exact wolf.
and they're like, you come in, you design something, and they're like, oh, I actually wanted what I sent you, and you're like, well, I can't.
Yeah.
So this is the option or not.
Yeah,
you know
you either
what I mean?
get this or you leave.
Wow.
Like,
But so either way, I think like doing that kind of content would be super chill.
Yeah.
What's your day look like then? How many hours a day do you work?
I'm generally at the shop for like 10 to 12 hours in the day, but like I'm not necessarily tattooing that whole time, but like, yeah, like it's been different, this year has been different for every tattooer. So like, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a little bit slower than I have been in the past, but that's just, Canadian tattooing right now. But yeah, for the most part, like I do a lot of like bangers, you know what I mean? Like pieces, like it takes me an hour, 2 hours, and then I'll do a few of those in like a day. Is like a good day. Like there's something about when you do pop culture, people don't want their whole back. People don't want their whole so the times that I get to do stuff outside of pop culture, I generally do larger tattooing like in that way. So it's like someone will be like, hey, I like your stuff, I want like a trippy eagle on my chest or something. But not many people want like their whole chest to be Ned Flanders. You know what I mean? Like
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is. I wish more to it.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
That would be fucking awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Do you ever design like pre-design like a whole like big like sleeve or something that is?
Yeah, like I've done a few sleeves and back piece designs and stuff. But again, now you're asking someone to be like, hey, I want this exact character really big. So it's harder because you have to try to find what that person might want. So I find the bigger stuff that I draw lately has been outside of pop culture itself. Yeah. Like just because then you got like I've been doing a lot of dinosaurs lately.
That's sick.
And people like, if you like dinosaurs, you're going to think it's cool, as opposed to like, if you have to pick an exact character to make a whole back, you're fishing at the bottom of the barrel to try to find one person that has that spot open, wants it that big and stuff.
Yeah. That's fair. Backs fucking hurt. Actually, heads hurt.
Yeah, I distinctly remember getting tattooed by Chelsea at your shop. Shout out Chelsea Rogues at Chelsea Rogues. And you and I got into the conversation about head tattoos, and I remember distinctly you saying that as soon as you go on to the button of the
little button,
I remember the line you said was, it opens your soul.
Yeah.
And
it was so bad.
I'm pretty sure that was like the spot that we had started in, and the second the needle hit, I was like, he's so fucking right.
And you're like, oh, I'm gonna throw up. But yeah, it's the worst. I haven't had that done in I got that 10 years ago, maybe longer. So now I don't think about it. But yeah,
what's the style?
The back, it's like a chopped up shark on the back of my head, like Neotrad.
Okay, that'd be spicy.
Yeah, so I got Neotrad on the back, and then Davey, the guy we were talking about earlier, he did a big panther on the side of my head, and I got a big script under here. Like most of my head's fully tattooed. It's just now I want hair, so nobody will ever see it again.
And you're rocking the hair.
Yeah, I want to thank you. Yeah, so I'm like, you know what? It takes too long to grow. I'm not gonna shave that down again.
Oh yeah. How? What would you say is the most painful spot that you've had done?
Kidneys. Or lower back.
Lower back?
Oh, my lower back.
Not your head?
No, I thought my lower back was way worse than my head. Oh, yeah. Everyone's different, right? But my lower back, all I thought was all the tramp stamps that I've done over the years and how they sat fine. And I'm rolling all over the bed, just sitting the worst.
Yeah, okay.
It's still not even done.
You still got to do that.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. you feel it in all parts of your downstairs business. Like
What?
it's not
See,
good.
and I found
it's
this
like in
on
your
my
butthole.
front.
Like it's the worst feeling in the world. Like
Yeah.
you've got it, you know. Like
You feel it in your butthole? No.
yeah, if it's like you're like getting it and you think that's where that, and like my ass is all tattooed, and that's also really terrible. Like you think it's not gonna be, but same thing. You're like, it's in my butthole, like, and it's not, but it feels like it's
Yeah, I
gonna
remember
be.
when Derek was blacking out my my belly button. You could it connects to your digestive system to a certain degree, and I could feel it everywhere but my belly button.
Yeah.
And it was just the like I thought I was gonna piss myself. I thought I was gonna end up pooping my pants.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to shit.
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
job
I
right
rea-
now.
I
Like-
really don't, but I'm pretty
Am I?
sure I'm going to.
yeah, yeah. Don't judge me. Like,
Have you ever had any fucking crazy shit like that happen? Like
well,
somebody
like people
pissed
like shit.
themselves?
I've had people piss them, but
No
I've
way.
never had anyone shit themselves.
You say that
Life's
casually
short.
too. Like I've had people piss themselves.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What,
Well, they say
twice?
they didn't, but like I know that they did. Like this one
Oh.
girl, she was like got up real quick, and I couldn't tell if it was like sweaty or what. But she was in the washroom for quite some time, and there was definitely like a good amount of paper towel missing after. So I think she had to figure her life situation out. I'm not sure if she threw her underwear there or if she took them home, but like yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. I've had people puke while getting tattooed too. That's
Yeah.
always
Oh, yeah.
gross. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
that's-
I haven't had anybody have a bowel movement of any sort.
No,
or
no
That
one's
you
ever.
know
No one's.
of.
No one. I've had pee, but no one's ever pooped.
No.
So life's short though. My goal is to make someone poop. Let's see. Like, just at least one
My
person.
goal is to make
Like,
one person do enough fucking lower back or
Yeah.
fucking belly
It'll
buttons.
get you.
You'll shit
It'll
yourself.
get you.
Oh yeah.
That's why everyone's back piece looks sick until the lower back, and that's when you see the shakiest lines and stuff because they're not looking so good.
I still have a bit of lower back. I didn't find it so far. I don't have a that much on there. I
Yeah.
have like so far. Like the back though is randomly terrible.
Yeah, like the spine, like all of it's so bad. Like it all
So
hurts.
fucking
It all
bad.
sucks. Like I
What?
don't like any of it now. Like
Getting tattooed.
anywhere sucks.
Do you
Last
find-
one I got was the side of my leg. It was a cover up, and I still was like, "Don't cry in front of everyone." Like, you know?
Do you find as you're aging now that the pain threshold is just like
Gone.
diminished to fucking nothing?
just gone
Yes.
now. Like I used to sit like 8 hours, no problem. Now anything over 2 hours, like I want to go home. I want to cry. Like I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Like
I think it's just like you just silently weep.
Yeah.
You just put your face in the sweater and
Yeah.
your skin just gets so much more sensitive, right?
yeah,
So it's
oh,
thinning
yeah,
out as
man.
we get older. So the older you get, the more it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe what it is.
That's why I like tattooing like, like old cats and stuff like that. Like it's
Hell
fun because they're always super cool, but
Yeah.
their skin is just
like
brutal.
tissue paper.
Brutal, yeah. It's like drawing on Sharpie on tissue paper. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
you're like, I'm
Blows out.
probably gonna blow most of this out,
Yeah.
but.
What do you do in that case? Like run your machine a little bit lower, or just go a little bit
No,
faster?
I just tell them that it's gonna be a gamble how it ends. Like, especially if they're in like their
Yeah,
70s
fair.
and shit. I'm like,
You tattooing a 7-year-old?
yeah, like I've tattooed a few people in their 70s, and like I tell them, I'm like, look, I can do whatever to my best ability, but it's probably gonna spread. It's gonna age real bad. But like they're usually cool. Like if you're getting tattooed at that age, you're not really looking for longevity. of
Yeah, the
piece
amount of
anyway.
fucks that you have at 70 years
Longevity.
old, I would imagine would be very minimal.
Yeah, yeah, they're usually the most fun, but like you do the worst of your tattooing on these people. Like
You don't post them.
No. You just remember the fun experience, and that's it. Like,
That's all. That's not
Would you rather tattoo with continuous hot shits or
like
an-
having the shits.
Oh yeah. And, or
We've all
a-
been there,
Poops that
though.
day.
I was gonna say, chances are we've all been there. Or like the most debilitating hangover of your life.
I've done both. I think I would take the hangover because you can at least get through it without wasting as many. Like, oh, got to take my gloves off because I got to go. You probably save some supplies just doing it
It's fair.
hungover.
Economical choice.
Yeah. Gloves are expensive now.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And like,
That's
there's
why-
nothing. Or at least you can just suffer a hangover. You can't be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back in 15 minutes. You'll know what I was doing. Like, you know.
Yeah.
how do
that's
you handle if you are coming in like not that anybody ever tattoos hungover.
It's never happened to
It's
anyone.
never happened to anyone.
No, it's not a thing.
But
yeah.
hypothetically, how do you approach the management of that situation?
It's been a bit because how badly, we get older. Hangovers are so much worse. Like I'm, drinking a lot less as is, anyways. But just suffer, I guess. Like just eat like real bad food and just like drink a lot of pop and just pray that it's over soon and they sit well and
Did they say what?
yeah, and just hope that that's why I don't really drink at conventions anymore. I learned the hard way a couple times. So I'm like, yeah, you just kind of go for it and go home. Like, you know, just do it and then go home.
Go home and die.
Yeah, go home and sweat it out.
Yeah,
Perfectly acceptable.
Okay. Oh, this is a fun one. Would you rather sit on a dick and eat a cake, or sit on a cake and eat a dick?
Probably sit on the dick. You know,
Because
like,
at least you get cake.
you get cake and like that's where your G spot's at, right? So like you're gonna at least you're having a good
Yeah,
time.
you gotta
You know, what I
start
mean? Like,
normalizing pegging.
it's up there. So like at least you're getting the best. You're getting the cake and
Dick
you're gonna
and
climax. You know, like it's
Yeah.
both. Like
It's
you know.
fair.
What the
Just
fuck
make
more do you
cake.
want?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love how quickly you answered that.
I don't think I'd be very good at eating dick. I think I just would do a bad job. It's
Dick.
not fair to them.
It's a waste
you
of
know?
a lot.
Yeah, you
And that's
know?
a lot to
Cake.
clean up as well
Yeah.
too. Like you got to think like frosting, fucking.
Yeah.
That's a lot
Dick.
of.
Well, it depends on how you end things. There could be a lot of cleanup on both sides. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
If you're good.
Yeah. If you're bad, then it's a
Which
clean
might-
experience.
Exactly. Well, that's great. Thanks for that answer.
Yeah, no problem.
I feel better. I feel like I know
Feel
you more.
better.
Sweet. Is that it?
That is it.
That's the best way to ever end anything. Like
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, anyway, it's fucking weird. Awesome.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, fuck me. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you
the
for
drive.
having me. This has been awesome. Never done podcast stuff, so this is cool.
Well, you fucking nailed
Yes,
it.
and then
Well,
we'll have
thank
to
you.
get you back with Chelsea as
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When her life's on the less crazy end, I
Yes.
definitely want to. I know she'd be down. So.
well. Oh yeah,
Awesome.
100%.
Sweet.
All right, man.
Cool.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Okay, cheers.